Exodus. Chapter 22, Exploring the Laws and Principles. Welcome back to Bible Breakdowns. Today we're exploring Exodus 22, where God gives Moses more laws to help the Israelites live justly and compassionately. These laws touch on theft, property, justice, and how to care for others in the community. Let's unpack it all. God starts by addressing theft and the consequences for it. If someone steals an ox or a sheep and then kills or sells it, they must pay back 5 oxen for 1 ox and 4 sheep for 1 sheep. Why the difference? Oxen were work animals critical to farming, so their loss had a bigger impact on a person's livelihood. If the stolen animal is found alive, the thief must pay back double. This law emphasizes restitution over punishment, ensuring victims are compensated fairly. What if a thief is caught breaking in? If it's at night and the homeowner defends their property, resulting in the thief's death, the homeowner isn't held guilty. In the dark, it was harder to judge the thief's intentions. However, if it happens during the day, killing the thief would be considered excessive, as other solutions could be pursued. These distinctions show that God's justice takes context into account. God continues with situations where negligence causes harm. If someone lets their livestock graze in another person's field, they must repay with the best of their own field or vineyard. This law ensures that carelessness doesn't result in someone else's loss without restitution. If a fire spreads and damages someone else's crops, the person who started it must pay for the damage. These laws emphasize personal responsibility and respect for others' property. What happens when someone borrows or watches over another person's property? If an animal is stolen while in someone's care, the thief must pay restitution. But if the thief isn't caught, the person responsible for the animal must take an oath before God, swearing they didn't steal it. If the owner accepts the oath, the caretaker isn't held liable. If the animal was attacked or killed by wild animals, the caretaker could bring the remains as evidence and wouldn't be held responsible. This system was designed to protect relationships and prevent false accusations while promoting accountability. Next, God lays out laws to preserve the moral and spiritual health of the community. Seducing a virgin. If a man seduces a virgin who isn't engaged, he must pay the bride price and marry her. If her father refuses the marriage, the man must still pay. This law protects the woman's reputation and ensures her financial security. Witchcraft. Practicing sorcery is strictly forbidden and punishable by death. Sorcery was a direct challenge to God's authority and often involved harmful practices. Bestiality. Anyone caught in this sin was to be put to death. This law reflects God's desire to maintain moral purity. Idolatry. Anyone sacrificing to a god other than the Lord was to be completely cut off. This law reinforces loyalty to the one true God. This section highlights God's deep concern for the oppressed. Foreigners. The Israelites are commanded not to mistreat or oppress foreigners. Why? Because they were once foreigners in Egypt and knew what it was like to be treated unfairly. Widows and orphans. God warns against exploiting widows and orphans. If they cry out to him, he promises to respond with fierce judgment, even bringing death to their oppressors. Loans to the poor. If someone lends money to the poor, they must not charge interest. Taking advantage of someone in need was unacceptable. Cloaks as collateral. If someone offers their cloak as security for a loan, it must be returned by nightfall, as it might be their only source of warmth. God cares deeply about preserving human dignity. God also reminds the Israelites to honor him and the leaders he has appointed. Blasphemy. Speaking against God or cursing rulers was forbidden. This reflects the need for respect in both divine and earthly authority. Offerings. The Israelites were to give the first fruits of their harvest and the firstborn of their animals to God. This act of giving symbolized trust and gratitude, acknowledging that all blessings come from him. The chapter ends with a practical reminder of holiness. Meat from animals killed by wild beasts wasn't to be eaten but thrown to the dogs. This law emphasized cleanliness and distinguished Israel from surrounding nations. Exodus 22 might seem like a list of ancient laws, but it reveals God's heart for justice, compassion, and accountability. These principles remind us of a few key truths. Restitution matters. When harm is done, it's important to make things right. Care for the vulnerable. God's people are called to protect and provide for those who are most at risk. honor and holiness. Respect for God, leaders, and moral purity should shape every aspect of life. These laws aren't just about rules, they reflect God's character and His desire for His people to live in a way that honors Him and cares for others. Next time in Exodus 23, we'll explore more laws about justice, mercy, and celebrating God's provision. Stay tuned for more Bible breakdowns.